towns and cities should have a clear vision. That's probably the most important thing, but it's got to be much more than that these days. It's got to be having an idea and a vision that's actually deliverable. So having an understanding of all those things that sit below the vision, all the detail around land ownerships, what the local communities want, what the risk is on the project. That's all used to then inform what your appropriate delivery model is, and that's a key thing for towns when you're regenerating places, just having more than the vision, having a clear pathway to delivery.
One of the things I'm hearing a lot in MIPIM this year is all things about identity and adaptability, and so be, for example, ready for AI growth in the future. So having kind of gigabit level broadband connectivity is one of the huge things for your future.
So I think it's all about strategic planning and having a plan that everyone is behind and everyone can back. It's about everyone, singing from the same hymn sheet, and all the strategic partners being, behind that plan, and politically as well, having that political buy-in. And I think that's what we've got, but that's what's required really when you're looking at, the future.
So the biggest challenge is ensuring viability and giving confidence to developers that they can actually develop. And a big part of that is speed of delivery. To create inclusive places, we really need to think about people being the centre of those places.
Get people into jobs because they've got skills, keep them in jobs, develop them in those jobs with including further skills development, and then good quality homes. They're fundamentals of inclusivity. And making sure that people have got access to these jobs and able to get on the housing ladder and stay there. Fundamentally, people want to be in control of their own destiny, so try and give them the opportunities to do that. That's what I think inclusivity is. Understanding
how far the public sector can go in taking that leadership role in regeneration, I think, is probably one of the biggest challenges. Not every place gets it right, and it's different in different places. Typically the private sector will need, in a lot of the sort of towns around Greater Manchester, for instance, the public sector to take a lead role in delivery. And that means de-risking projects, but it's sort of how much responsibility does the public sector take for that delivery? That's probably the key question.
My biggest takeaway was the North wants to come together and actually work together across regions to develop and to be more investable and to be that real heart of the UK.
We're all in the same boat, and I think no matter how big or small your city is, everyone sort of is facing the same challenges. And I think the encouraging thing, not just from today's discussion, but overall, in attendance at MIPIM and some of the discussions that I've been involved in, is the appetite for sort of public and private sector collaboration and partnership working, and I think that's what is absolutely required to move things forward.
I think what has encouraged me is that a lot of the towns that we're thinking around Greater Manchester and further around the northwest have come a long way in the last 10 years. A lot of them have their master plans and they're in the delivery phase of certain projects, key projects. So it's how those sort of ripple effects after those major schemes can come forward, and how that sort of the private sector comes in on the back of that public sector investment. But what I'm really encouraged to see is that everybody seems to have made some really significant progress over the last decade.